gluttony. So you would be tempted by gluttony in the afternoon. So let's see. Mine is right there. Is that the same number you got?
It is.
It is? Mm-hmm. Well, wait a second. What if we all have the same temptation? Is that the same number you got? 27? If you look at the list, you'll see you'll be tempted with an evening of lust. It doesn't sound so bad. Everybody got the same thing. Mm-hmm. Okay? No matter what you did, everybody ended up with the same thing. And I tore up those numbers, and I really shouldn't have done that because I need those numbers to explain this. That's okay. I know magic, so it's no problem. So let me just go like this. Seamless. Yeah, so all right, so now you've got 5 slips there. So when you have 5 slips in front of you, you're going to number them. Of course, that's the list. You probably can't see the list that well there, but you heard me say it. Morning, afternoon, evening. Start with 0, end with 9. This is a slight variation from what Juan Tamariz had in his book. This obviously is from the book Verbal Magic by Juan Tamariz, which is magic you could perform over the radio, or in the modern day, you can perform this virtually over the internet. You could do it over the telephone. You can perform it in person like this. Now, this particular one is kind of fun and kind of, weird, flirty, sort of a party trick. What you want to do is to have as many people taking part in this as possible. So it's a little odd in the studio with just us, but it happens for all of you at home. So really, you'd want to have a group of people, if you're on the radio, group of people in the studio. Or if you're doing this on a virtual call, you want to do this like on a conference call virtually, FaceTiming with people, so that everybody at the same time gets the same result. It makes the whole thing a lot more fun. So you make that list starting from 0 to 9. That's what I've changed from Juan Tamariz's. And I put morning, afternoon, evening at the top. And then I put the 7 deadly sins. If you read the book, he only put 6 of the 7 sins, and that really bothered me. I wanted them all to be there, so I figured out a way to do it. What's important is whatever appears at number 2 and number 7 are going to be your forces. In this case, it's possible to force other things. I'll talk about it in a second. To make this more visible, let me use your pen. Okay. You have people number those slips, like you said, and the numbering is legit. 1, 2, and 3, 4, a 5, a 6 with a line, a 7, 8, a 9, and a line, and a 10. So that's legit. This particular force is really super cool. Let me just explain what's going on here, because when you first encounter this, it seems like there's tough mathematics going on here. Like there's some weird mathematical oddity. It's actually really simple. It's so simple. I'll explain it to you, and you'll see how easy it is. If we start with all the even numbers up, they all total to the same thing. Mm-hmm. Okay? So this total here is 30. So 8 and 2, 4, 6 and 4, and 10. That's 30. Really easy. It just totals to 30. If I turn over any one of those slips, can you tell me what the new total will be?
It would be the 30 minus the...
Minus what?
Whatever is on...
And do you know whatever's on? See, this is where it feels like it's weird math, but it's not. Here's why. Because of the way we numbered those, every number that's on the opposite side of the slip is 1 less than the number on the top.
Okay.
So regardless of which one we turn over, it's only 1 less.
Okay.
An 8 will turn to a 7. A 6 would turn to a 5. You see? When you think about it that way, you're like, oh, it doesn't matter what slip we turn over.
Right.
Every slip you turn over, you subtract 1. So if I turn over the 2, the new total is 29.
Okay.
Now, same thing. If I turn over any slip, now it's 28. Now it's 27. By turning 3 slips over, it's 27. That's how the force works, is that every slip has an even number, 1 higher than the odd number written underneath it. Mm-hmm. So you can easily force anything from 30, which is this, which you wouldn't want to. If you turn over 1 slip, you get 29, 2 slips is 28, and on and on and on like that. So the thing that sort of obscures it is by taking one slip and turning it over and putting it to the side. So that this putting to the side is meaningless because it's going to come back later. But right now, the total of all 5 slips is 29. But the total of these 4 slips depends on which one it was turned over. But it doesn't really matter because it's going to add back in. So there are 5 possibilities when they turn it over, and it depends, of course, on which slip they've removed from it. So when you have people add up the 4 slips that remain, they will get different numbers. But now you're going to force them to the same number by having them turn over any 2 slips. So remember, every time we turn over a slip, it's 1 less than 30, 1 less than the previous thing. And we've already turned 1 over. So any 2 of these that get turned over now make the total 27 for all of them. And then you're going to further obscure that by stacking the slips up and flipping them over and then stopping either up or down. Nobody knows. But it doesn't matter. The reason it doesn't matter is because I've turned 2 slips over. Well, if I flip everything over, it's just like turning the other 2 slips over and not the... So both sides of this now add to the same number. It doesn't matter what that number is, they just do. Because at the end, as long as only 3 slips are showing odd numbers, it will always be 27. So it's pretty easy to understand. And if you understand that, you can actually create your own number forces based on it. It's best when there's an odd number and you do this thing and you turn, So if you had instead of 5, if you had 7 slips and you took one away and turned 3 of them and then did that flippy thing, it'd be just like having 7 slips and turning 4.
Okay.
In this case, it's 5 slips and you turn 3. You're going to end up with the same total no matter what. So when you put those all together and you total it up, it's 27. And that's the reason why we destroy the slips. As soon as they have the number in mind, you now destroy them because it's really hard to backtrack to how simple this force is. And I love this. Before reading the book, I never knew about this one. And it's a good force to know. It's interesting. It has some possibilities of applying to various things. And of course, you've probably already figured out, you can easily create a list over here to force any 2 items. Or you can create a long list and just force item 27, if you want to. Or you could force 27, have them added together, and then the 9th item on your list is the force, that kind of stuff. So there's many applications for this particular number force that I really, really like. And it's so much easier to understand than you would normally think. And actually, the reason I point that out is because when I read it in the book, it took me a while to sort out what was actually going on. And it really was just a matter of going back and realizing that you're starting with a specific number when you've got even numbers up, and just by turning any 3, you're just subtracting 3 from that total. That's what it all comes down to. It's simple, isn't it, when you know how? Another really, really great trick from Verbal Magic by Juan Tamariz. And I think this is one you'll have a lot of fun with, and like I said, customizable, so you can figure out lots of ways to do it.